I'm Kathy Holmes from Nanaimo Family Life and your host for Wise Folks.
You're listening to CHLY 101.7 FM.
When you get to be a wise folk, you realize you can't know it all. We're all in this together. So let's have a conversation about issues related to the third stage of life. I'm Kathy Holmes from Nanaimo Family Life and your host for Wise Folks.
That's the best part. So, Michelle, just for those that maybe didn't get a chance to hear our show last time, which, by the way, you can hear on YouTube, and I do invite you to check us out there. Under Wise Folks, you can find the January, February shows. We've got a few from before, but we're bringing them all to you so you can get a chance to listen. But Michelle was with us, and she was talking about her book and all kinds of stuff. So let's tell the audience where, who you are, what you do, what all this good stuff is
What, where, why, when, how?
Mm-hmm, you betcha.
Well, that's one of the hardest things in the world for me is to say who I am and what I do. I exist solely to be the voice for animals.
Yeah.
And I'm under the title of the dog psychic. So for 17 years before that, I was under the title of dog trainer, and I owned a dog training company in Victoria. So within that, and within being human and being a psychic human, I've taken hundreds of classes and courses around North America to be able to be certain that the voice that I am for animals is authentic and real, and beneficial, and for the greatest good and greatest joy for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing, that it never come from a place of ego or that I want something for somebody, so I'm just thinking it up. Like, to actually, for all people, when you're tapping into the needs of any mammal, to be able to take 3 deep breaths and step outside of yourself and ask for the information to come through you rather than from you, is where the magic happens.
Absolutely. And I had the privilege of having you firsthand. Actually, we did a little bit of stuff on air, and then you recently came to my home, and we did some incredible work with my 2 Jack Russells there.
With your 2 raccoons.
My 2 little raccoons. My little white puffballs. And I'll tell you, we had a blast doing that, but we're not going to go into that too much right now, except to say that there was something that you did that I'm not sure had I ever experienced before, in the frame of healing, right? Like, yes, I believe in, heal thyself, and then you'll heal around you. But to sit back and to do some healing cards with you and really open up to what the universe was trying to say at that moment.
Yeah, that was really loud and really clear, that we had to, rather than focus on the dogs, you first, fill your cup first, address what was going on for you, and come from a different place, which was using the, whatever we call them, tarot cards, oracle cards, energy cards, whichever. Mm-hmm. So that was, there's a lot of different magic and a lot of different ways for stuff to show up. But that was really loud and clear, that it was beneficial for you to get that first in order for us to be able to effectively hear and work with your girls.
Absolutely. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that being a dog psychic, you are tuned into the medium, right? You're tuned in, and your role is to find the best way to hear the messages that the dogs are saying, or the higher power is saying, or whatever.
Whomever, whatever it's coming from, wherever,
in order to be able to fulfill, right?
Yeah.
And you taught a couple seminars this weekend. Let's talk about those.
I did. I had 15, 18 ladies out in Duncan at High Point Ranch that all brought themselves through life, through money, through time, through motherhood, through all the things we do in our lives, and got themselves to this course where I was teaching them how to tap into their psychic, intuitive, animal communication skills. And one of the, you never know what it's going to look like. Yeah. I don't go into stuff and prepare solely. Like, I let spirit really kind of guide what's going on. I live my life like that. Finally, took a long time.
Yeah, well, it's a learning curve. Right?
Get out of your own way and go with flow and ask for support and guidance all the time. So in teaching these women to work with the animals, at a point, I'm giving all of them, they all have pictures, and they're all sharing pictures, and they're all reading each other's pets, and then they're all sharing the information that they get back. And I'm cheering and oohing, awing. And I don't know any of the animals, and I'm not doing readings. I'm just, holding space for the students. In the very end, I bring out a huge picture of my dogs, like life-size picture of all 5 of my dogs. And the response that I got back from the women about my dogs, because I know them, like I know them inside out, was absolutely amazing. And what it did for me is, it's just so funny. I was saying earlier to you that it actually makes me believe, because I'm an open-minded psychic. Like I'm an open-minded psychic. I can't even see the word. Open-minded psychic. That's how. But it's maybe not open-minded I am.
It's the important part is that you are an open-minded psychic, because
and skeptic.
Yeah,
and skeptic too. So I. You have to look at all sides of the reality and what it feels like for you, what it sounds like for you, how your body responds. And it was just listening to these ladies that come from all walks of life. We had one lady there, I called her Root Chakra, and because she was wearing all red, and she's just this amazing woman who does past life regression therapy, and she's done it with thousands and thousands of people. Like you don't, and then, you have a little, the dog walkers, like you have all these different people that just show up. There's just the dog mom or the person who wants to know what the cat is saying, or it's just, I am so proud of the people that show up to learn something new about themselves, the animals in their lives, and about the world and the animals that they share.
Yeah. No kidding. I'm just getting a rush
so proud.
Just with the whole conversation is just when people show up in their lives and they explore a new normal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do.
It's a new normal. It's okay. This is how I've lived my life so far, and maybe it's working for you, maybe it's not working for you.
Yeah.
And so you go and you think, okay, if I tweak a little of this or I tweak a little of that, what will this new normal look like?
Yeah,
and
what do I have to gain?
And how can my pets, how can I be better for them?
Yeah, and
and vice versa.
And the message in animals is they come into your life to teach you what you need to know. Like that bottom line, I've worked with over 7,000 dogs. Like I capped it at 7,000. That was almost 2 years ago now. So I don't even know how many animals that I've worked with. And that is continually the message. And people also will say, could you be talking about me right now? Is that, do animals mirror their owners? And they often do. And it's actually known in the veterinarian world as well. Like when I've talked to my vets about this, thinking I was a smarty pants, like, oh, guess what I know? Listen, just what I understand to be true is that animals mirror their owner's stuff, and then
well,
just
we
the
know
owner
that from some of the comic strips, right? We've seen where the Doberman Pinscher looks like, the dad, right, or the little poodle looks like grandma, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
and even farther.
Much.
They'll mirror your illness, your disease, like all your root stuff.
Yeah.
And that goes into quantum physics and science and Chinese medicine and energetics. It's not just one spiritual thing. That is like a big thing. So
it's huge.
So don't freak out if you're listening to this and your dog has warts. Like don't be like, I too am going to have warts one day. Just do something for your immune system, for the love of dog. Get your warts to the health food store.
Well, I'm giggling because, it's true. There are simple things that our dogs are teaching us. And the wart, actually, it may be a physical thing to deal with a spiritual issue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
That's great.
It's not always. It's how does it manifest?
How does it manifest? I love working with a team. It's like this extra brain of mine that's just over here fine-tuning the things I'm thinking or saying or missing. It's so cool. I love it.
I actually had a great privilege the other day. I was working with a group of people that were studying to deal with the homeless situation in our city. And not just our city, but, really across Canada. So we were having some really heated conversations. It was just fantastic. It's completely off topic, by the way. But what is on topic is what you were saying.
Yeah.
And that, the team of people, right?
Yeah.
So this woman from across the room says, now that's the bingo moment. And it stuck with me. I laughed so hard in the sense of
bingo. Yeah.
It was the bingo moment. It's the bingo moment. But it was a phrase that I'd never heard before. And it was like, oh my God, I have to steal that. It's so great.
I call it the hit. Like, I'm like, I just got the hit.
You just got the hit.
And that's what I'm teaching the ladies. I'm like, know your yes. So like, understand what your yes sign is in your body. You have to understand fully what your yes information is in
Let's
your body.
explore that. What do you mean your yes moment?
Well,
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah,
but
for
let's
my yes,
really
when we're
open that
talking
up.
about stuff and we're like just hitting the mark, like the yes is I'll get tingles up my neck or I'll get hot. I used to get hot ears. If I'm not listening, I'll start to get a migraine. Like my body will start to clench up because it's like saying yes, 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 listen, 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 and I'm not. So for people to understand, it might be a feeling in your stomach. So for some people, their hands get hot. Like everybody, your jaw. When it's big stuff, I'll start to shake. Like I can hardly contain myself when it's just big energy. I'm like, So that sounds really strange. It's an internal shake. I don't start to like.
It doesn't, because I know my own dogs and I know that they shake when things are odd.
Okay.
So I don't. So which are you most like of your 5 dogs?
All of them. They're all my mirrors. They're all but my soul dog is Pepper, who is a Pomeranian pug, and he's super barky. He has a wart.
So does my Kevin. She has tons of them. Tons of them.
So I take things for my immune system as well.
Yeah.
And on that note, Thuja, the homeopathic Thuja, is sometimes really beneficial for warts, for working out warts. He's the dog in my life that I've promised. He's 16 and a half years old right now, and I've made my promise and I've accomplished it, is that in my life I would become less reactive and more happy and more joyful and more relaxed, because he was red zone aggressive, like violently aggressive with people and animals for the first 2 years that I got him. And I got him at 11 months. So it was sunk in, his reality. So I had to unwind that, but I also had to unwind myself. So, when you're looking at your dog and you're pointing a finger and saying, or your cat or your horse or whatever, and saying, oh, you're not making me happy and you're doing this wrong, and jibber jabber, sis boom ba, you have to point the finger right back at yourself.
Yeah.
Like I learned from living with Weimaraners, 4 of them, that I can't have coffee or be highly caffeinated around those breeds, because they just trigger from that energy. I also learned I don't walk with people or talk to people when I'm with my dogs for the first 5 years of their life, because they need my full attention. I don't need to be stopping and talking to other people.
Right.
I don't need to. So it's your turn.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
Well, it's my turn, and so since it's my turn, I'm always in awe when I'm with Michelle. There's just so much to say and so much to do.
Cool information.
But the good news is there's other stuff going on too, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Michelle in a little bit
All right.
about more very, very cool stuff. We'll take a break in conversation and play a tune. But before we do that, I do wish to remind you guys that the Medical Cannabis Conference is coming to Vancouver Island Convention Center on March the 23rd, and you need to get your tickets. They're only $25.
Yeah,
And
best thing ever.
Best thing ever. Not only for humans, but for dogs as
Oh.
well. Like there are some incredible. Okay, so to be clear, Nanaimo Family Life Association, which is who I work for with the Better at Home program, and who we host this show on behalf of Nanaimo Family Life
Nanaimo
Association.
Family Life
You betcha.
Association.
We work with a lot of people. And, our programs are far and wide for all, youth all the way up. But a lot of the programming we're doing right now is with seniors. And what we're finding is that with the new laws about marijuana, there's a lot of unknowing. A lot of people don't understand what is correct, what isn't correct, and really what is it? And I'm not talking about smoking a doob. It's about like, what can it do from a medicinal perspective. We're neither suggesting that people start taking weed or start using creams or start doing anything that. On the contrary,
Educate
what we're
yourself.
doing is saying, learn, and you'll know some alternatives. So we've got people from the Arthritis Society. They're going to be talking. We have Pierre from Tilray directly, who's world renowned, Canada renowned as an expert, talking about the importance of medical cannabis, which, by the way, I know for some animals is an incredible support to the immune system,
CBD oil keeps my dogs alive and well.
which
honestly
is phenomenal in itself, right? So to come and to get educated about that, you can do that on March 23rd at the center. And so what we invite you to do is to get your tickets right away. There is also going to be a bit of a trade show. Hospice is
Where
going
do
to
you
be
get the
joining
tickets?
us. Tickets are online, www.medicalcannabisconference.ca. And Michelle, I have one in my purse, so if you want to pick one up before you leave me, you can. And
That's kind of you.
that's just as a heads up.
Thank you.
But everybody should have these tickets, so I invite you to check online. If you can't get them online, you can drop into Nanaimo Family Life, 1070 Townsite. We have tickets at the front there for you as well. So now we're going to take a little bit of a breath and we're going to listen to Francine Honey. What a pretty name.
It is a pretty name.
Francine Honey.
Good for her.
To be continued. And the song chosen is I Wish. And I wish for all of you that are listening right now that you're a great wise folk and you share your wisdom with everyone. Well, I have to say that was a pretty peaceful tune. I think it was. I kind of rolled with it. And, of course, when you're not on air, and the lights are off and it doesn't say on air anymore, then I get to shoot the shit. I mean, talk. Whoops. That's the first time
She's got a real foul mouth, this one.
That's right. I'm a sailor. I truly am a sailor.
We're all a little bit of a sailor.
Except that was an accident because I have really worked hard at never using profanity on air. So I hope you have a good giggle with that.
Really hard.
Anyway, long story short, you're listening to Wise Folks on CHLY 101.7 here in beautiful downtown Nanaimo. In the booth with me is Michelle Jarvis Wanacott.
Ba-dum-bum.
The
So
dog
I
psychic.
want to tell you guys, I mean, I have 1,000 stories in my head, but I want to tell you a story about a young, intelligently, highly psychic young lady who just contacted me about her dog.
Yeah.
And what we learned from her dog is that he's autistic. So this young lady had been spending all kinds of money, as one could and should, at sorry, you guys, I'm just trying to do social media stuff here. I'm
At the same time,
super duper multitasker.
she is.
So bad at it. Okay, so I'm going to hone in. So, a bully breed, not going to tell you what kind. The girl contacts me. It's a big thing. I ask her to contact me live rather just through email and such, the way that I do things. And we have this face-to-face conversation because she is just devastated about how to be able to support her dog.
Yeah.
And from this and me going in and from me afterwards doing a big, huge read, sending the whole reading to my student group, and everybody getting the same information. Her dog felt like he was in a bubble. Some people picked up brain damage. A lot of us couldn't relate in a bubble kind of information.
Yeah, I understand.
And then just out of nowhere, one of my friends who's an animal food scientist, she works with me with all of this. She does the courses with me as well. Michelle Dixon. There you go. Throw it out. She sends me this article on autism in dogs. So I send it to my students and everybody's like, holy cow, like the board's firing up. And then I talk to the owner about it and everything for her just makes sense all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And she's at the point where she's exhausted all reality. She's absolutely frustrated. She doesn't want to put him to sleep. She doesn't know what the options are. So we sit down, the two of us, and we work out all of these options for her, and then she can breathe.
Yes. Yeah, how amazing.
Right? Then she can finally just breathe. And this is what it's about, is being able to hear your own truth. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about know your yes. So no matter who is giving you information, whether it's an animal psychic or your mother or a person psychic or somebody that you think is really wise, it's about feeling it in the cells in your body where you actually go, ah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can turn that off now.
Okay, it's on.
That's going to be deleted, right?
So
Someone's going to hear that?
I don't think it's going to be. I mean, it's a
I'm just joking.
wonderful story. What whenever we get a chance to share information in any which way we can, it's a good thing. And this may end up on YouTube on our Wise Folks channel. You never know.
Yeah. Okay.
Just saying.
And
saying.
just so you know, yes, animals can have autism. They can get all kinds.
That was
of
the very
strange
first time
things.
I'd ever heard that.
Yeah.
Was just before we went to there, just after when we were in the break, and you said that my eyes kind of popped a little bit out. And of course, why wouldn't it? Exactly.
I'm making faces at her right now with a winky eye. She's having a moment. Yeah.
But theoretically, why wouldn't an animal have the same kinds of issues that a human being does? I mean, really, if
we're mammals.
We're mammals. I mean, people get colds, people get liver disease, people get, indigestion, people get exhausted, people get depressed, I mean, the conditions are endless. And so too, I would suspect they are. I believe my dog is ADD. Bobby Wilson
Yeah,
is jumping
yeah,
around.
yeah.
She jumps up and down. She is, it's hard to get her attention for any length of time,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, she just, and to keep that attention for a long time. And on the other hand, sometimes she's uber attentive. For example, if she's ratting,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? She will stay so focused. She'll hear nothing else. She'll see nothing else. She's
an idiot savant. Is that what they call it? Is
I think
that
so.
appropriate wording?
I don't know,
I don't
but-
know anymore, but it's where she's a genius on one level, like focusing in on one level. And then in the living life level, it's like,
yeah. Beethoven
happening?
was like that.
so who?
Beethoven was like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The movie Beethoven?
No.
The dog? The dog? What are we talking about right now?
like the musician.
Oh, the man. Okay. I'm like the big Saint Bernard.
But I'm really kind
television?
of glad you said that because it makes more sense.
I was like, where are we going right now? And I really want to be able to tell you guys this super cool story about Dylan.
Yes.
Do we have time?
Yes, we do.
So I had a dog named Dylan. He came to me, I'll speed talk, came to me at 11
you don't
years
have
old.
to. Take your time. Take a
Okay.
breath.
It's
all
also
good.
easy for me to channel when I'm doing that, when I go faster. So it came to us when he was 11 years old, and I had a wolf cross puppy all ready to go. I'd picked it out, my dream dog, and Dylan came in as a foster dog, and I looked at him and I said, "You're just here to be fostered." And he crossed his little legs, well, his big legs. He's a Lab Shepherd pit bull. And he said, yeah, no, this is where I am now. Well, like, what are we doing? Like, what's next? That's all I could hear from him. What's next? Every top of everything I said, what's next? What's next? And this Dylan, this scrappy old cat, this cool dog, literally visualizing him with a cigar in his mouth, sunglasses on, like kind of probably talk a little bit like this, like just a really cool dog.
An attitude.
Yeah. Oh God, he was the best dog, the coolest dog ever. He came into my life to teach me, to help me properly grieve the passing of my dog Missy, my childhood dog that I didn't get to grieve over. Mm-hmm. So when I knew what Dylan's message was, when I finally surrendered to him, now living with us, not going into a different home. Long story short, nutshelling it. We got to do this beautiful, beautiful, graceful passing when Dylan passed, in which for 6 months afterwards, because we had him put to sleep, let over, sent over, passed over on our front porch. From 6 months after that, we would hear the tapping of his toenails on our door. And my husband, who's a total non-believer, we'd sit there with a glass of wine and be waiting for the tapping. And it would start around 4:30 in the day and go till about 8:30, 9:30 at night, which 4:30 is when we sent him to heaven.
Yeah.
And it went away when Maya passed away 6 months later. Maya's the one that I wrote the book about, I Give You Permission to Grieve for Your Dog.
Yes.
Available on Amazon.
Yeah, no, exactly. Let's talk about that too.
So, Dylan, I'm leaving my house yesterday, and I look at the picture and I hear, "I want to come with you." And I'm like, I don't work with you, Dylan. You're like on the other side, and you're working with your old family, and like all these preconceived notions. And I instead, rather than judging my own intuition, grab the picture, throw it in my bag. So it's the very end of I call it a concert, not a seminar. At the very end of my concert yesterday, when all of the girls are to have their little test and read my dogs, I hand Dylan's picture over to these ladies who have their hands open for the pictures. And they look at me. So they all have, just so you understand, they all have pieces of paper and they're all writing independently from looking at a dog's photo. All four of them report that they all see him in a field filled with flowers, which is exactly where I used to walk him almost every single day, and have photos of us in that field. And they say he's coming back. And one of the girls was like, yeah, he literally said, "I'll be back." Like he got the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing in there. She heard just that cool guy talk. And they said to me, "But he's not coming through to you." And I'm like, "Oh." And they said, "He's coming through to a young boy." And I immediately knew it was my nephew, Ryder. Because Ryder, at 4 years old, when Dylan passed away, his mom, he was grieving. And his mom didn't know why. Like, you're 4. How are you grieving about, your auntie's dog who lives 2 hours away from you? I don't get it.
Yeah.
He wrote this, he did this beautiful art, and he told his mom this story. And the art was a picture of Dylan with a ball and a bone and my dog Pepper in a rainbow. And they call it the Rainbow Bridge when animals pass. Mm-hmm. So what the thing said was, Dylan is having fun playing in the flowers with his bone and his ball, playing in the flowers in the sun. And he had drawn this out, and Pepper's chasing the rainbow. And Pepper grieved so badly after Dylan passed for about 6 months that I thought he was going to pass.
Really?
There's this 6-month window when an animal passes where it looks to me and has been shown to me time and time again that an animal in the house that's not sick or not unwell can pass through that window. So not meaning to freak you guys out, but if you have an animal pass and you live in a house of multiple animals, make sure that you renew your contract with those animals and say, I love you, I need you, I'm here for your lessons. Please don't go into the
don't go
through
to the vortex.
Don't, yeah,
absolutely.
So I phoned my sister and told her about Dylan this morning. Before I phoned her, she had just posted a picture of Dylan with her husband and his brother all cuddling each other on a couch at my 40th birthday party.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so my sister's not a firm believer in this, but I could feel it in herself. When you can feel that somebody's getting it.
Yeah.
And she got really excited. And they've been looking for a new dog for about 6 months. And she said her husband found one this weekend. And she was like, not having that kind of, she doesn't want a big dog.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you're going to have to talk to Dylan and tell him you'd like him in a smaller form then. Like, you can make these contracts with your pets.
Yeah.
And you can make a contract with your pet right now about this lifetime, about their next lifetime that they might come in to help you, and what their passing can look like, what coming back to you can look like without trauma and emotional abuse or whatever your dog might have suffered. I have all rescues. You can make contracts with your pets, like new contracts.
I really love the make a contract with your pet. I mean, it's so common sense to me to make a contract with your pet.
Yeah, and we miss it. We just expect from them.
I had never heard of it before until you were in my home. Never heard of it before. But I know that many times I had sat down with my girls when there was change. When I got divorced and moved over from Vancouver, we didn't call it a contract. We sat down and we had a discussion. It's like, okay, Bobby Wilson. Okay, Kevin.
Yeah.
This is a new normal now.
Good for you.
Right. So it was very easy to do that for me, but I would have never.
Lots of people don't. They just expect their animals, especially horses. People just throw on the halter and drag them out and get on their back and do their thing. And they have no free will. And then you wonder why they're acting out. Well, maybe tell them when you go get them, hey, this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to brush you down. I'm going to clean out your feet, the normal stuff. And we're going to go for around the neighborhood. We might run into some bears or a dog or a motorcycle or, and chill out. I've got your back or whatever you're going to do. Like, really take a moment every day to tell your dog what's up.
Yeah.
And if you're stressed out and losing your beans and you've got a really stressful life, let them know. This has nothing to do with you. You don't have to heal me. You don't have to take it on.
Yeah, this is my job now, not yours.
Yeah.
I'm here for, you're going to be okay.
Yeah,
it's going to be okay.
And it might sound weird, but like I said, it's the people who make me believe. It's sharing stuff like this from animals that people then afterwards tell me the difference it made in their life that moves me forward. Because I don't have to do this for a living. I choose to because it's so beautiful and it's so helpful and the people we're all feeding each other this energy and this truth and this vibration through these animals. It's just
I think what amazing. I find really most interesting is that even if you don't buy into all of it, like a lot of people don't. I mean, that's the reality. You said yourself, you're the super skeptic yourself.
Yeah.
The validation piece that you get though is when your life is just a little bit calmer because you took the time.
Ah, beautiful. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like it's just or you're.
You notice a difference.
We got lots more to talk about. We just do. We've got lots more to talk about. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break in conversation.
Okay. We're going to do some dancing behind the scenes.
We're going to do some dancing behind the scenes. We really are. Francine Honey, to be continued, much like our conversation.
All right.
Having said that, we're going to listen to Snowflakes on My Lashes. And I think that that's the perfect segue into the weather we're going to have for the next few days. And there's no place like home without a dog. I am saying that out loud. I have had a dog now for, I don't know, maybe, I had Stephen and Bobby Wilson and Kevin and Mr. Potson and Buckley. And there's no place like home. And so we're talking with Michelle Jarvis Wanicut, who is the dog psychic at dogpsychic.com. And she is just too cool for words. And I'm so glad that you're here. She's also written a book. We're going to talk a little bit about her book. We're going to talk about the next upcoming workshop that you have. And what can someone expect when they go to one of your workshops? Because I I really wanted to go. I was tied up with another matter, so I wasn't able to. But
Well,
talk to us about that.
Well, what they can expect, what I see, because I have them write down what they want for themselves, like when they show up. What do you like? Write down what you want for yourself out of this, out
Right.
of yourself, out of your day, out of your life, out of whatever, out of this moment.
Yeah.
And what I see happening is, when I give people their certificates as they're leaving, they come in and they're closed up and locked up, and they have all this trauma about their pets and what this might look like and what it might bring up for them. And I see them leaving peaceful and happy, and they're just light. And I once did a little video after one of my courses, a grief course. So it was intense. There was some big work in it. And I had just said one word, how are you feeling? And people were like enlightened, lighter, full-hearted. Two of my young girls were like exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted because they were right new to this kind of work.
Well, and it's hard work. It's heart work.
Heart work, yeah. So you have to be prepared for it. And I have a course coming up on February the 16th at the OAP Hall on Labia Road. And it's a grief workshop. And it's for every single person that has lost a pet at any point in your lifetime, that misses the bejesus out of it. Any single person that knows this is your dog's passing year or feels it and is freaking out about it, or any single person that has a pet on the other side that they feel like they've lost, like they're in pain, or people that feel like they're still connected with their pets.
Or not connected and want to be.
Yes. There's just so, I mean, the list is really long of if you've loved an animal and you miss that animal and you wonder about it, or if you're loving an animal right now and don't know what to do when they're going to pass, it's the best thing ever. And it might be the only course like it in the world because it's not touched on. Animal grief is like not touched on enough.
I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, I had never heard about it as a I don't even know what you want to call it. Like
Workshop?
Not as a workshop, not as a book, not as anything. Like, I mean, really, people, in my life, it's been the mind of your dog dies, you get on with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like we wouldn't treat people that way, but then very often, we treat our dogs better than we treat some of the people that we're working with as older adults in community,
Yeah.
right? But we don't grieve them.
And for some people, it's the only place they can love. Like I'm not good at loving humans. I love people. I love my family, but to like feel that allow myself to feel it. I get to do that with my animals, and with people, it's still really kind of scary for me. I get it in little tiny bits and pieces, but then I pack it away, or I turn it into just a light thing. But with my animals, I can be like, I love you so much, because it's really personal, and they're not going to laugh at me or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's just reciprocated equally.
What I find in my lifetime, what it's been is that there have been lots of people in my life, particularly men in my life, where they're able to unconditionally love the pet because the pet isn't telling them to go and clean the gutters.
Or expectations, etc.
You know what I'm saying? And so when the death happens, and really, it's quite alarming to see, that there's so much depth in the grief. But someone that they love so much as well as a human being, they can't grieve the same way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm presenting that properly, but an example is my former
It's
husband.
secret. With people, you can share it.
It's secret.
With animals,
That's
it's
right.
secret because you don't want to feel stupid.
But
People don't want to feel
I have that's not been my experience.
good. But that's what I hear from people, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What I'm hearing is that, or what has been in my experience with two longtime partners, my first and my second husband, when we've lost an animal, is that the depth of their grief is so overwhelming. Like they outwardly, deeply cry and hurt and feel lost. Like you can see it. And yet when they lost their own mother, or they lost their father, or they lost, do you know what I'm saying? So
I've seen it a million times in my own life and in my clients. Yes.
Is not so much that they're embarrassed about grieving, but that there's a depth and a breadth of a grief.
Yes.
That you would expect that person would see in other human relationships, and it doesn't exist in the same depth.
No. And so
It's permission.
Yes, people. Then that's the whole thing. That's the title of the book. I give you permission to grieve for your pet. And in the book, I'm journaling about one of my dogs. When my dog passed, I was journaling. I was just so guided to write it out because the thoughts wouldn't. I'm not going to sleep ever. Like, I have to get these thoughts out. You have to get the thoughts out of your head.
Yeah.
So I wrote them all down, and I'm not a journaler. I'm not that kind. I don't journal unless forced to because I'm doing a workshop or a book or something. So I journaled it all out, and 7 years later, I found the journal, and then I wrote a book around the journal about Maya's story and our lives and whatnot. And then I attached these questions. Every journal, is it called excerpt? Like every time I wrote a part of the journal, at the bottom of it, I'm writing to the reader, how are you feeling right now?
Yeah.
1 to 10. What does your body feel like? Because we disconnect.
Yes.
We spend a life disconnecting from our body that we become these fragmented humans, and then we need therapy and counseling, right? Because we're running from our pain. So
Correct.
How about we just sit in it? And then within all of this stuff, it's also inviting you to look at, have you noticed out of the corner of your eye your dog? Do you think that you feel them? Do you think that you smell them? Did a bucket knock over today for no reason? Like, just getting people to really pay attention to their environment, because if it's real and if it's true and if there's another side and if they can visit us from the other side, pay attention. Because the gifts in that are absolutely glorious. Like, I had these ladies reading my dog's picture, like I was saying. And my dog, Charlie, on the other side, who works with me actively on the other side, she kept knocking out and taking place of the dog that they were trying to talk to, who's still alive and well.
Yeah.
And that was the relationship. She was just like, we couldn't even talk to her because Charlie just kept like blasting in front of us and just showing us her face. And these are multiple people reading one dog and not sharing notes until they share the notes, right?
Yeah,
So it's really cool to see how this works. And there's this thing in life that I've learned, and this is it. You don't know what you know until you know it. So with all of this, experiencing animals on the other side, or working through your grief with a tool, or doing workshops or courses or getting support, you don't know what it feels like to be on the other side and to be in this place of absolute beauty around your pet passing rather than absolute trauma. You don't know it until you know it. So I invite you to, play with that a little bit and maybe read the book and do some courses. And like I said, mine's on February the 16th. It's the Dog Psychic. You can find me there. I'm also doing an animal communication course on March 23rd in Aldergrove, BC. At a big horse ranch, so that'll be fun as well. But the grief thing is where it's at for me, because it's just so important and so beautiful to understand that there can be this other side,
And I think
this
that
other piece.
I think that understanding as well, and I loved what you said earlier, it's not just for people that have got a pet that's already on the other side. It's as much for a pet that's on this side that's ready to take the next level over. And it's being able to maybe have that conversation again with your pet and say, it's okay. Right?
And I teach people how to tap into that.
How do you tap into that?
I teach them exactly that. How this is how we do it. This is how you tap in. And even the people that don't really believe, because, their mom or their daughter or their friend drugged them along, they have these amazing experiences that I'm blown away by. I'm continually blown away by.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow. It's like I don't even believe, and I just learned it for the first time, yet I'm the teacher of it.
Yeah, I understand.
So amazing.
And our students always teach us more than we could ever learn.
Thanks.
For me, you said you don't know what you don't know until you know it.
Yeah.
Right. And for a lot of people, including myself, it's you don't know what you don't know. A full stop.
Yeah.
See, so I think that the rephrase even of that comment, right, is you're quite right. We know that when our dogs get sick or when our cats are unwell or rabbits or whatever the animal is, what we know for sure is that we want to tap into our pet, but we might not even know how to.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're freaking out.
And we're freaking out because we're seeing, I remember my rabbit Bumpkin, and we had to take I was like 8.
I've had tons of rabbits.
I love rabbits. Rabbits are my favorite animal. They're my spirit animal. They are my animal. I love rabbits. And I love them because there's something so gentle and sweet and just fabulous.
They're love.
They're love, pure love. And they and not everyone will feel that way when there's like 20 or 30 of them up, VIU, and they're everywhere. When I
you
moved
see a rabbit, remember to love.
it's a lucky charm.
Remember.
It's a beautiful
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
It is,
Anyway,
yeah.
long story short, when she died, it was very traumatic because she was a house-trained rabbit.
Yeah.
My mother adored her. She followed my mother all over the house. She only pooped in one spot.
Yep.
That was it. She was well loved. But when we were little, right, and they pass over, it's like one day she went to the hospital, next day she didn't come home.
Oh my.
So what I think is really cool is that these kinds of lessons are also really good to teach our grandchildren and our children.
Oh,
That respect and that love of your animal. And, maybe mom needs to go and get the training for it by coming to your seminar, right? Or auntie or grandma or whoever.
Yeah.
But to be able to share those stories, because when our children lose their beloved goldfish,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
There's still a grief that child has.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I just had to share that. To me, that was important. Is that little
That's
moment?
beautiful.
of-
I didn't even think of the trickle down effect.
it's the trickle
I think about
down.
the trickle out, but I didn't think of the trickle down.
the trickle down is the little tiny people
The
that
kids.
are looking up and saying, "Well, where's Spot?"
And there are little intuits of the future, right? The kids. They're the ones that are tapped into all of this stuff, and then life and pressure makes them not listen to their own belief systems, and then they lose it.
And then they lose it, and then they want to have to start all over again, and not know really how to. But if they've got a good supportive grandparent who's been through one of your courses, or a supportive mom and dad or friend or aunt or whoever, could take that training down and help them go
beautiful.
through their good stuff, right?
You're so kind. What a beautiful thing to think of. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, but I know for sure that, that the little people that are around are much more, we used to have a bird, a little canary actually, or budgie, pardon me, Jerry the budgie. And I remember having a full funeral procession. So I was really
Aw.
lucky because my mom was very good in taking my sisters and I across the street and doing the shoebox and doing the good burial. And lots of parents do that with their kids, which is really great. But the connection that they have sometimes gets lost, right? Because they don't
Yes.
necessarily understand. My sister was younger than me when we were doing that. So the trauma hits kids the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Or, sorry, differently.
And then you
because-
bury it down and have to go to counseling when you're 30.
And then you come to Nanaimo Family Life Association.
Yeah.
Which we're happy that you come. Don't get me wrong. We are.
Yeah.
You're listening to Wise Folks on CHLY 101.7. And in the booth with me is Michelle Jarvis Wanacott. And we're almost finished our conversation. It's so hard to be almost finished, but we've got a couple minutes left. So before we go off air, of course, people need a piece of paper and a pencil. I'm hoping that they've rushed off to grab it while we're having this part of the conversation, so they can get your contact and go maybe to the workshop, the seminar,
That'd be
get
great,
your book.
yeah.
All that would be awesome. So while I'm yapping about the medical cannabis conference that's going to be on the same day that you're in Abbotsford.
Aldergrove.
March
March
23rd.
23rd.
March 23rd. I will understand if you need to go and see her seminar. I
you.
will totally understand that because I just, you might need to do that. Having said that, if you don't need to and you want to learn about looking after your pet a little bit differently or
yourself,
or
yeah.
yourself, differently and
Yeah.
equally in its own important level, then you need to check it out. So the WWW Medical Cannabis Conference, March the 23rd, starting at 9:00. And there are going to be some incredible speakers and some wonderful information available for you to make sure that you know what you're doing when it comes to CBD and THC. How do people reach you, Michelle?
Thedogpsychic.com.
That's pretty easy.
Thedogpsychic.com.
Duh.
We made it easy on purpose.
Yeah,
So
just Dog Psychic.
dogpsychic.com.
And your book is available on Amazon.
on Amazon, I give you permission to grieve for your dog. Simple information. Yeah.
Simple, usable. You can also watch Wise Folks and the show on Shaw Cable 4. Both shows are very informative, and Michelle was our guest on one of our most recent shows.
That was
So
great.
that was
What
really
a great team.
It
Yeah,
was a really good
that was
team, and you can
amazing.
check that out on YouTube as well. So there's lots of ways that you can find out about Michelle. As we go to close, though, I always ask, the takeaway wisdom. So we've just got a couple of minutes, but if you could, I don't know, tell people your life lesson for this for the dog psychic and looking after your, what would it be? What might that look like?
Well, my life lesson is that animals come into our lives to teach us the lessons we need to learn, and we need to pay attention. And we have to slow down in order to be able to hear. And sometimes you have to prepare your body and able to hear. So it's, you know, your calm music, your quiet time, your meditation, your healthy foods rather than caffeinating, because you can't hear your own self or your own inner voice if you're going too fast. And animals are continually confused about why we're going so fast.
Yeah, because they're not. They're comfortable.
Yes.
Right? They're wanting just to be happy, whatever you want to do.
Pretty much.
You know, they're pretty
They're
calming.
as happy as you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes happier because they take the time when they need to sleep, they sleep.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
You know,
point.
they actually are really terrific at teaching us to, you know, take a moment, take a breath. And they listen to you, right? They listen to you. So it's important that you listen back.
Well, and hear is the word, right? Yeah, hear. Really hear it and really feel it, and just take the chance of playing with that a little bit in your life and see what shows up.
Yeah.
That's my big thing in life, and in all this stuff. We're just practicing and playing. How about we just like focus on everything as I'm just practicing and playing rather than doing. Like I think that's what my dogs have taught me the most is practice and play. Like quit the attachment to doing.
Yes.
Loosen up.
Yeah.
Loosen up. And in their passing, be present. Be absolutely present. Cry when you need to, and then find the inner strength within yourself to help your pet pass over in a really beautiful, glorious manner like you would wish for yourself.
Absolutely.
Peaceful.
Peaceful and kind and
No
good.
freaking out. Yeah.
Thank you,
Freaking
Michelle.
out. Okay.
As always, it has been a pleasure to be with you on this fine Monday and every Monday at 1 o'clock on CHLY 101.7 on Wise Folks. We're so glad that you tuned in, and we do invite you to really check in with us at Nanaimo Family Life Association. If you want to know more about Michelle and you didn't get a chance to grab a pen, give me a call at Nanaimo Family Life Association. Just ask for Kathy. My number is 250-754-3331, extension 202. And you can also check us out on Facebook and look for the Dog Psychic on Facebook. There's all kinds of information there. And click in and say, I like. Thanks again for listening. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
next time. Bye.
Blessings.